Adam Carolla on a podcast called Trigonometry was talking about California politics and how left-wing they are and how crazy they are, and they still keep putting the same people in office. Number 34.
California's like, oh, we hate all the policy, but we will never stop voting for the Democrats that are in charge of creating the policy.
Why not?
I think there is an allegiance in the Democratic Party that runs deeper, I think, than the Republicans. I think by nature, Republicans are a little more pragmatic, and in the sense that if black women vote overwhelmingly for Democrats. They've been doing this for 60 years. They've got nothing. They've got nothing in return. Now, what they get every year is, I see you, and you're going to have a seat at the table, and, I care about everybody, and I'm going to blah, 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 blah. It never happens. They had a 2-term black president. They've had it all. It never works. It doesn't work in their town. It doesn't. They go, we need a black mayor and a black fire chief and a black DA and a black, and it doesn't. It never works. But they do it. I mean, 92% or something, that block, Now, pragmatic people, after about 50 years of nothing working, would go, you know what? I'm thinking about a different direction. Call me crazy, And Democrats, if I don't even consider myself a conservative, but just as a sort of a pragmatic person, if the guy I voted for started doing a bunch of stuff that didn't work and I didn't agree with, I would vote for somebody else pretty quickly. They also, once you subscribe to this Hitlerian stuff, well, then you have to vote for that person, because in L.A., we had Gavin Newsom running against Larry Elder. Now, the L.A. Times called Larry Elder the blackface of white supremacy. So if you said one guy is a white supremacist or Hitlerian or in the Klan, that guy doesn't want to raise the price of a parking ticket by $10, but the other guy who's not in the Klan and not Hitler does. I would then, if I believe that, I would go, well, I don't want to raise the price of a parking ticket, but also I don't want to be led by Klansmen, so I will vote for this other guy. So what they do is they go, look, it's a show and nothing works and we're broke and homeless and it's a dumpster fire here. But our guy loves people. And the other guy who says he's going to fix all this stuff is a racist. So who would you vote for?
I keep thinking...
it sounds comedic, but it just is true.
Yeah.
It's just true.
Right. My mom, before she died, said a couple of years ago, she just goes, the recall or whatever, and she just goes, I know Gavin Newsom is. I don't know this Larry Elder. Like, I know how I'm going to vote. I know there's a homeless encampment on the roof of my house, but this guy cares, and the other guy could be mean, and so I'm voting for the guy who cares.
By the way, the woman that referred to me as the black face of white supremacy, her initials are Erica D. Smith. Oops. She now works for Bloomberg. After the voters in L.A. voted for the first black female mayor, she wrote a column and said, Karen Bass is L.A.'s first black female mayor, and it's a big deal. That's verbatim, and it's a big deal. Larry Elder, the black face of white supremacy, would have been the first black governor of California. But apparently that wouldn't have been a big deal. And as you know, when I ran, I never once suggested that people vote for me because I'm black, and I was hoping people wouldn't vote against me because I'm black. To me, it's irrelevant. After you've had the first black president of the United States, isn't everything else anticlimactic? the first this, the first that, the first this, the first that. The New York Times had a long article about my race, my candidacy, I should put, and there was a picture of me, so you could tell that I was black. But the entire article, very long article on the front page of the New York Times, never mentioned that I'm black, let alone that I would be the first black governor of California. And I'm fine with that. Isn't it about time we talk about people's qualifications without dwelling on their race, gender, ethnicity? However, that same day, very same newspaper, New York Times, big long article about Kathy Hochul, who was appointed the first governor female of New York. So, and mentioned her gender. So her being the first was relevant because she's a woman and she has a D at the end of her name. My having been being the first, if I got elected, black governor of California was irrelevant. Hers was relevant. Mine was irrelevant because I have an R at the end of my name. That's how these DEI, race hustling people that view the world with race-tinted glasses see things. You're no longer black if you don't think the way I think. And that came up with an exchange between Ayanna Pressley, who once said, we don't need any more black faces who don't want to be black voices. Hispanic faces don't want to be black Hispanic voices, when she was talking to a Republican who happened to be an Army vet. The exchange was entertaining.